Good morning, everyone. I'll just give it a few more minutes to let people come out the lobby and then we'll get started. So thank you for taking your time today to join our webinar. Numbers are going up slightly, so I'll give it another minute. I'll give it till 2 minutes past and then we'll get cracking. Thank you very much. Right, good morning, everyone, and thank you for bearing with us while we get people out the lobby. So, I'd just like to welcome you to today's cyber webinar. For those that don't know me, I know a lot of you do. My name's Amanda Brooke. I'm the project manager for the industry engagement team here at NHS England, and we're delighted to welcome you to this session this morning. So, the webinar is scheduled for 1 hour, so we don't expect it to take that long. So hopefully you'll get some time back and have time for a cup of tea on this cold morning. So to ensure a smooth experience, you've all been automatically muted to prevent any background noise. If the presenters do have any background noise, I will apologise now because we all seem to have dogs today on these calls. The chat function has been disabled, but we have got the Q&A function that's live. So please use that for any questions. There's a team behind the scenes who's ready now to answer your questions. So following the event, I know you always ask, both the presentation slides and the recording will be made available. The slides will probably come out later today, but just bear with me while I transcribe the recording. That takes a bit longer due to our policies. So I'm going to say thank you for joining us. I will be coming back because we have got some polling questions towards the end and I will look at Q&A, but I'm going to hand over to Chrissy now. So thank you for listening to me.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you to all of you in attendance this morning. Over the next few slides, we'll be discussing the details of the security testing service and contracts with a view to introducing you all to how it works at the moment and what we will be requiring for the reprocurement in 2026. So with no further ado, let's begin. Thank you, Lucy. So by way of a quick introduction, I'm Chrissy Pullen, and I head up the security testing and reg team for NHS England. NHS England host and operate the national digital systems that underpin our healthcare service. And the security testing service and contracts are managed from the cyber operations function. As a function, we manage security risk. We protect the NHS against cyber threats. We detect possible cyber incidents whilst trying to minimise the impact of such events when they do occur. Next slide, please, Lucy. So my team and I, also known as Security Testing and Red Team, so START, we deliver and manage everything there is to do with testing for the organisation, basically. So that's pen testing and adversarial simulation, also known as red team assessments. And we deliver that via two main routes. We do this via our own internal NCSC check accredited pen test team, and also via a panel of our approved pen test external suppliers. Essentially, we're here to support our internal teams for every element of the pen testing cycle. That's from scoping to procuring at pace to SME advice and post-test assistance as well. It's important to probably highlight here that we work with all our internal services, so therefore trusts and the likes fall slightly outside of our remit, and this contract is for all of our internal services. Next slide, please. Thank you. So in our current provision, in our current contracts, how does things work, and why does it work this way? It's worth highlighting here that this model has been proved to work. It's due to the structured governance that we have in place, the transparency, the strong supplier relationships, and all of which we aim to retain and strengthen through the reprocurement process. So how that happens. So step one, all pen test requests come through our team. We process those. We will contact the next supplier within our rotation and provide them with all of the details of the pen test request, whatever that may be. There's the scope of the test, essentially. So whether that's web app, mobile app, cloud, APIs, or a blend of all of the above. Then that supplier essentially will have 2 business days to review and confirm if they can accept or decline that request. If a supplier does accept, they're confirming 2 things really. One, that they have the skills in place to be able to fulfill the test request. And 2, that they can complete the test in the desired dates and timeframes of the project team. If the supplier does decline, we just move straight to the next supplier in the process. But if they do accept, that moves us nicely on to step 2 of the process, where we will provide a formal introduction to the project team that enables those further discussions, usually a scoping call, any questions, and then the full test plan. So once all the final details have been confirmed, the supplier then is expected to send us their full test plan in the statement of work. That includes the cost, and that's required no later than 5 days after the introduction and the scoping calls. At that point, it moves us on to step 3 of our process, where it's based around all the approvals. There's multiple approvals required at this point. They include a full technical review, basically ensuring that the test plan meets all of the expectations, and then also the financial approvals. That will enable the statement of work to be signed and to form our contract. At that point, all the prerequisites can be arranged, and the kick-off call to confirm tester access is done the week before the testing is scheduled to start. Step 4 of the process is all around our suppliers and them being required to attend monthly and quarterly service review meetings. In these meetings, we typically track a number of different things. So we track test delivery, so what has been delivered and what is in the pipeline to be delivered, any successes that may have occurred. We'd like to understand the trends and challenges that you might be having. And we'll also cover things like service quality, any feedback received. Ultimately, those meetings are designed to be transparent, open conversations to ensure that service delivery is kept to a really high standard. Next slide, please. So over the next few slides, we'll just delve into some of our core requirements for the contract. They're split into...
Sorry, Chrissy, for some reason my computer just rebooted. Let me just give me a second.
Oh, it wouldn't be a webinar without technical issues, Lucy, so it's completely fine.
There you go.
Okay, great. So must-haves and should-haves, and then we'll cover some of the new things in the contract. So the must-haves we've split into accreditations, assurance and compliance, as well as capability and experience, delivery and resource management, and finally commercial requirements. And then we'll cover some of the desirable and should-haves and the new things in the contract. So just beginning here then, under the accreditation, assurance and compliance, all of our suppliers and their subcontractors, if they have subcontractors in place, must hold check accreditation throughout the lifetime of the contract. And testing is always to be carried out by staff who hold check certification and clearances. Our reports that you submit are to have CVSS scoring and aligned to NCSC check standards. And all of our suppliers are required to disclose any subcontractors that they may have working on the test, and really to ensure that they meet all those obligations as well. Our suppliers are required to provide statement of works and reports that include detailed methodologies that align to industry standards. And just on the next slide, please. So this slide and core requirements are really focused on capability and experience. So all of our suppliers have experience in delivering pen testing services within government and be able to reference those upon request. They will have experience providing security-focused remediation within government. They must have proven skills across all the test types. So as I mentioned earlier, and you can see them on the screen there, so everything from infrastructure, wireless applications to physical security and red teaming security response, that side of things as well. We require all of our suppliers to be able to deliver between 250 and 400 testing days per year for the lifetime of the contract. And when you provide your statement of work to us, the CVs of all the assigned testers are to be provided as well as. On the next set of core requirements, it's based around delivery and resource management. So we would expect all of our suppliers to have dedicated testers assigned to us throughout the full test and reporting phases. The testing team that you assign to us must be available for pre-test kickoff calls, end of day review calls, end of test debrief calls, and report review calls as well. And that's unless our internal team agrees otherwise. In terms of timeframes, so our suppliers must respond with their statement of work within 5 days after that test has been accepted, and scoping questions to be raised within that period also. And our suppliers are expected to project manage all security testing requests from us. Reports-wise, all of our suppliers work with us to have the report delivered within 5 working days from the test completion. And delivery resource, if NHS England requests any service improvement, we would hope that that be addressed and actioned within 10 business days of receipt of that request. In terms of the commercials, we require all of our suppliers to be able to provide day rates based upon 100 days, 200 days, 300 days, and so on at the point of the tender submission. And then just finally from me, in terms of our should have requirements, that the desirable, We would hope that our suppliers can offer GBEST services and NCSC SIAS, so cyber adversarial simulation services. We understand that NCSC have yet to release that detail, but we know that it's imminent, and we would hope that our suppliers would be working towards that accreditation and be able to offer those services in due time as well. In terms of service improvement and our new requirements, so some changes from this contract to the next. In this contract, we have 3 suppliers that work with us, and in 2026, we'll be hoping to work with 4 suppliers under that contract. And the next 3 kind of points here are all around us introducing a new element to our process, which is all around critical pen test requests. So I guess to help paint the picture, we don't have a lot of critical pen test requests. Most of the time, we have teams that are requesting in a good time frame. However, there have been occasions in the last couple of years that we have had those critical pen test requests. There's probably been 3 or 4, so not lots, but it's really important for us to be able to offer an option to explore whether external pen test assurance is available as part of this contract. So at the moment, a supplier has 2 business days to respond. So for a critical pen test request, we would appreciate an accept or decline within 3 hours of receipt. We do understand that that might not be possible. We also would like you to know that we would be expecting to take advantage of maybe some gaps within your schedule, or those late cancellations that you may experience. We would be thinking that our requests might be able to kind of be shoehorned into that type of gap in resource there. If in the current contract, the supplier has 5 days to provide us with their test plan and statement of work, for critical pen test requests, we would hope that a test plan can be delivered within 1 business day. Of course, if we get to the end of that rotation process and we have no suppliers that are able to give that external assurance for those critical pen test requests, we of course have plan B in terms of our own internal team, but it's important for us to be able to explore that, as I mentioned. So that's us, that's our service, that's the requirements. And I will hand over to Lucy now for the important commercial and timelines.
Thanks, Chrissy. Hi, everybody. I'm Lucy Lewis. I'm the Senior Commercial Advisor supporting this project and working really closely with my colleague, Michelle, who will be running the procurement itself. So you've all been invited today because we think you're already registered on the CCS Cybersecurity Services 3 DPS with a check accreditation. But just to make clear, so this is a tender that we're going to be using the CCS framework to access, and we'll be sending it out to those who are registered on that DPS and have ticked that they are check accredited. If for any reason you're not registered, that is a DPS that reopens, so you should have time to join it between now and when we go out to tender. So we've included the details on how you can do that. But if you are check accredited and you're already on the DPS, it'd also be great if you can just double check that you have yourself listed correctly so that you get the details, because it will be quite a closed procurement because it is a really specialist area. It's not something that we're going to be sending out to everybody. In terms of our timelines, we are quite well advanced with our governance and approvals. So we're sort of approaching the final stage now. So we're hoping that this is a very achievable timeline. We're looking to issue the tender in Q4, probably March time. If we're ready sooner, we'll go sooner. And we've allowed ourselves, just because of the value of the tender, we've allowed ourselves a good couple of months to get through the internal governance and processes. But again, if we can Shorten this time frame we will, but we'll be looking to award and sign a contract in August next year, and have that sort of relationship building and process development lead in time for a go live in October. So that's our sort of commercial approach, and really happy to take any questions in the Q&A if people have got any questions on that. If not, I think we would love to just take an opportunity to get a little bit of information from yourself. So I'll just hand over to Amanda.
Thank you, Lucy. So just bear with me. I'm going to launch the first poll. So we have got 4. If someone can let me know, I think now. So hopefully you can all see the first question. Based on the requirements set out today, how likely is your organisation to bid for this contract? Just to add, no one else will see results, only the team, us. So no other person on the call, no other suppliers will see what you've ticked. It's only for our knowledge, and they won't be shared afterwards. So based on the requirements set out today, how likely is your organisation to bid for this contract? So hopefully, can you see that, Lucy? Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it okay, Amanda.
Thank you, that's great. Sometimes you always wonder, don't you? Have I hit the right button? Oh yes, right, that's great. I've got some answers. So right, I'll launch the next one. So just bear with me. So the next one is, how confident are you that your organisation would have capacity to deliver 250 plus security tests per year? So same again, there'll be only us who sees your answers. So if you could answer that, that would be great. Give it a few more seconds. And then the third one is, how confident are you that your organisation would have capacity to respond to 3 to 4 critical security tests per year, accept or decline within 3 hours, or deliver within a week? And that was all explained throughout the presentation to you, hopefully, so you all get that. So if you could answer that for me, that would be fabulous. Well done, everyone. And then the final polling question I will launch for you all. How likely is your organisation to seek the NCSC CYAS accreditation when it becomes available? That was a bit of a mouthful for me, so I do apologise. So hopefully you can all answer that. Thank you. Very good. So, right, I'll look in the Q&A now. I'll leave them open. I don't think any of the questions have been answered. Let me have a look. No. So, Chrissy, do you want me to talk, say these questions, or is that all right?
Yeah, I didn't actually see any questions, but sure.
Oh, yes. Yes, we've got 3 at the minute, so feel free to pop them in the Q&A. We've only took 23 minutes, so you've got plenty of time at the end for a cup of tea. So the first one's from Alexander Northwood. Is checked accredited the only filter that will be used to shortlist via CSS3? If not, what is the full list? Lucy, I see you've come on camera. Thank you for helping me out.
Yeah, as things stands, that will be the filter that we'll be using. Obviously, when we finalise the paperwork, that might change, but that's our plan at the moment.
Brilliant, thank you. So, where elements of the testing scope fall outside of the recently updated formal NCSC check requirements, e.g. cloud configuration reviews are not checked, can non-check resources be used to deliver these components to provide value for money and more availability for NHS England? I don't know, Amanda, is that you again, Lucy, or is that Chrissy or someone from your team?
No, so I'm happy to answer that question. Amanda, could you repeat that, please?
Yes. Where elements of the testing scope falls outside of the recently updated formal NCSC check requirements, e.g. cloud configuration reviews are not checked, can non-check resources be used to deliver these components to provide value for money and more availability for NHS England?
So it's a good question, and as an organisation, we would prefer check resources as standard and non-check resources by exception. Of course, we would look at those things on a case-by-case basis, but ultimately we would like to remain within the check remit. Although we do know that report won't be submitted under the check process.
James, your question's been answered in the chat, hopefully by Michael. So thank you, Michael, for that. Let's got some new ones up here. How is the work divided to the 4 suppliers? What is the value of the contract and term? And that's from Daniel Cornish.
So we work on a rotation basis, and we try to make sure that in the lifetime of the contract that everybody is providing an equal share around days. Of course, that isn't always possible, and depending on a supplier's schedule, their busy times, their resource, they might not be able to accept every single request that comes their way. And so we try and balance it as best we can from that perspective. In terms of the value of the contract, I believe it's a £1.2 million contract, and it will be a 2-year +1 +1, so could be between 2 and 4 years.
Thank you, Chrisette. So we've got 2 questions from Andrew Turner. So if CYAS isn't live by then, what would the minimum red team qualification be? Crest, Star, C-Best, accredited, etc.
We imagine it would be live by the time that this contract goes through in 2026.
Thank you. And Andrew's asked another question. In the poll, you asked if it was possible to deliver 250 pen tests in a year, but in the slides it was referenced 250 to 400 days of pen testing per year. Can you please confirm which is accurate?
Yeah, so that was a great spot, and I'm really pleased you've asked the question. So yes, it's 250 days of testing, between 250 and 400 days, not tests.
Right, thank you for clarifying, Chris. So I can't see any more questions in the Q&A. Am I not handing over to anyone? If anyone's got any questions, have to email Lucy. I'll pop Lucy's email address on the email I send out with the slides. So thank you all for joining today. We appreciate your time and the questions that you asked. Like I said, the slides will be sent out hopefully shortly, later on today. The recording probably towards the end of the week or the beginning of next week. I will add Lucy's email onto that email for you, so that if you do think of any more questions or you'd rather ask privately, that's fine. I'll pop that on. So once again, thank you to the team for putting on this webinar and allowing me to host it for them, and we wish you a good day, all of you. Thank you very much. I'm going to end the event now.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.